Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to wrap up our Model 3 paint work. We've got our final cut and buff to do, our chip guard, and then take a look at how it looks in the light. Stay tuned. Alrighty, and just like that, boom, Tesla is painted. Well, kind of. So you saw me lay down the first couple coats of primer and base and clear. I untaped it, and I was not happy with A, the blend, and B, the color. So I went and got the color mix before I went ahead and did the paint restoration or paint correction, cleaning, whatever you want to call it, and that darkened up the red a few shades. And the paint I had mixed, like I said, we kind of threw the rules out the window and made our own blend. And what looked really good on our sample and our spray out on the car was not quite right. So I just kind of threw all my eggs in one basket, or really all my paint in one cup, and took some of the new mixture we had and took some of the old mixture we had that was a little too dark with that metallic in it. And I think it turned out really good, really close. Even out in the light, I'll show you a few pictures. It looks pretty good. Up close, if you look really hard, you can still tell just a little bit in the blend where the color changes. But overall, for a used car, albeit it's a Tesla, it looks really good. Now, I told my buddy if he brings it home, looks at it every day and says, you know what, I hate this, I'll steal it back when he goes on a road trip with his Lincoln later this summer and work to get a better match. But our goal of cleaning up all the chipped paint and exposed metal, that has been taken care of. And also, like I said, I went through, detailed it. I got Meguiar's 100 and the number 9. I have not done the ammo skin yet. I want to let the paint cure. And I want to do my cut and buff and blend with my 1500, 2000, and 3000 wet sanding, and then I'll buff it. And that's, I think, going to even further that blend just one more step. But the one thing we have left to do before that point is put on our SEM Chip Guard. So pretty much what I've got to do is put another masking line on. I did leave the masking tape on the bottom where it ran down under the car, but now I need to go and run my tape. I don't know if you can see it, it's pretty faint, but there is a line right here where I'm going to go and reapply masking tape and above, so I can take my SEM Chip Guard and shoot it down here on both sides. And even up close here, this looks pretty darn good. You can tell lighting is a challenge too. On one angle it looks really good. On one angle it may look a hair lighter just behind the front wheel. But all in all, it looks good. The only thing I was not able to really fix was these scratches. I put in a little of our mixed paint just to protect the metal right now. And maybe we'll look at getting one of the tri-coat pens later on this summer. He also might want to do a chrome delete kit, so maybe we'll see that again later this year. But for now, let me go ahead and get this thing masked up again. We'll come back, shoot on our SEM Chip Guard. Alrighty, we've gone ahead and wrapped up the bottom part of the car here. We've got our area cleaned and prepped with the Eastwood paint pre-prep. And now I've got our SEM Chip Guard here. And directions say pretty much shake it up for a minute. And depending on how thick you want it to be or the texture on it will depend on how many coats and how close you are to the vehicle. Now we're going to go with a kind of a smoother finish. We don't want it to look like, clear truck bed liner. That's not what we're going for here. Just a couple of light coats to add a little more protection. But we've got, well, all in total, a couple coats of primer, a couple coats of base coat, and a couple coats of clear. So there's already a whole lot more than what we started with. So we'll throw on a couple of light coats of this, and it'll be done. Alright, I'm gonna go over to the driver's side. We'll come back, we'll do one more coat here on the passenger side, and that should be it. Alrighty, now before this stuff gets hard and kind of joins between the tape and the car, I'm gonna go ahead and take off the masking, and we'll see what we've got. Alrighty, we've got just a couple of light coats on both sides. We're back here on the passenger side since the lighting is better. And like I said, we didn't add on a ton like you would in a truck bed liner or something, because remember, we already have something from the factory, plus our 8,000 coats of other primer and base and clear, so we don't need to weigh it down with, 20 extra pounds of paint material. So I'm gonna let this dry, and then once that is done, I'm gonna come back, like I said, and wet sand these couple of blends right below the camera, right in this area. Whoop. Right there, needs a little bit of wet sanding and a buff, and we're gonna be good to go. Alrighty, we're coming down to the home stretch. I'm gonna go ahead and do some wet sanding. I've got my Duragold wet dry sheets. I've got 1,500, I've got 2,000, and 3,000. Pretty much, I'm just gonna take, start with the 1,500, wrap it around one of my Durablocks, and just wet the whole area down and lightly hit where I painted, sort of right in this area here. I don't want to get up into here because, well, I didn't do anything up here. The goal is just to hit where I painted, get a little bit of any orange peel off the top, and help with this little bit of a blend here between the old and the original and the new paint. So that's what we're gonna do. Just take a few seconds to get this sanded up here for you. So with the wet sanding, you don't want to lay into it hard. You just want to lightly run over the surface. You want to make sure you keep it wet. I'm continually spraying the area to keep the sandpaper and the panel wet. You're going to get a much smoother finish like that, and you're going to help clear out any of the debris that comes into the sandpaper like that. And just wet sanding, exactly what it implies. Wet sanding surface, wet panel, and that's going to get you your good finish to cut and buff. Alrighty, now we're going to have some very fine scratches in here. It's tough to see with the lighting. I don't have much better over here to show you, but you're going to have some fine scratches in here from that sanding, and we're going to go back with our Meguiar's 100 cutting compound, and we're going to grab our small little DA for this area, because we don't need to do the whole panel, just need to look at a little small area here, and the small pad is going to work a lot better for us. Alrighty, now you can see after I've sanded here, the surface area I've dried off and the water has sort of flashed off. You can see this area is hazy. Those are all those fine scratches in here, so I'm going to go ahead, take my Meguiar's 100 compound, just got a gallon of this stuff. It's great. Throw a little on my little DA here. Plop. Ooh, concrete's tough on the knees. Somewhere I have a kneeling pad, but not here. Go ahead and wipe it onto the panel first so you get minimal sling. We're gonna go ahead and wax the car anyways, but we don't need to make any bigger mess than we have to. Now, pretty much anybody you talk to is going to have a different bit of advice or criticism for buffing and polishing? Do you have a big area, a small area, fast RPMs, slow RPMs, a lot of goo, a little goo? And best advice is follow what's on the back on the instructions for the product you're using and your DA. And if that fails, mix it a little bit and figure out what works best for your situation. There is no one size fits all for this. Everything is a little bit different and unique. So we have to approach everything not with the same mindset. So with that little bit of wisdom done, I'm going to let this dry. We'll buff it off. Then we'll move on to our number 9 swirl remover. Alrighty, we've got our Meguiar's 100 buffed off. You can see our hazy area is gone, and overall it's looking pretty good. Actually better than the first pass I made with the big DA. So we're going to take our back on camera. Alrighty, so we've gone ahead and buffed off our first round here, that Meguiar's 100, and you can see all the haze that was there is now gone. And actually some areas look a little better than with the bigger DA. So luckily I've still got to wax the whole car first or polish it. So maybe I'll just use this. Who knows? No, maybe not. Anyways, we're going to take our Meguiar's, our number 9, put a little dab on here. And work this in just like we did with that 100. And this takes out more of the finer scratches and swirls. Of course, we're just progressively getting higher in our grit. I don't actually know what these two are compared to the sandpaper, but we are definitely making progress. So let's just get it done. Now, on my advice earlier, kind of a general, everyone can agree on, A, you don't want to go too fast when you're polishing, and B, you don't want to push too hard because you can, depending on the vehicle you're working on, actually burn through the clear, and then you're going to have a much bigger problem to deal with. I think Larry over at Ammo NYC has actually done a video or two of just how hard it is, or not, to go and burn through your clear. So if you're interested in that, I'll try and find a link below. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get this swirl remover buffed off. And look at that, no more haze. And you can't see it in the camera. I don't think you can, even if I were to zoom in. Let me grab a picture with my phone here. If I hold my bottle up to you, you can see just how clear the paint is, free of orange peel or any other defects. So let me drop that in here. Alrighty, we are down to our last step before the reveal. Go ahead and lay down a coat of our Ammo skin polish. Let me do that off camera because you've already seen me wax enough cars on this channel. So when we come back, we're going to take this thing outside for the final reveal. And of course it's dark now, so that's going to be the next day, just like this. Well folks, let's take a look and see how this thing turned out. Maybe follow me. Yeah, you know what? Some mode is kind of hokey, but it's pretty neat. It comes when you call it like the dog you never had. Anyways, let's take a quick look at our paint. All right, let's walk around here to the front. Didn't do anything up here, of course, but it is definitely shinier. Now, you can remember we had all of our rock chips up front here. Those are all gone. Paint looks decent. You know, there really is not Not a lot of difference you can see. I mean, in the right light, you can see that the color is off just a hair. But all in all, we took care of Mike's big issue was getting some paint back on that bare material and protect it. So he's gonna be good to go. Take a quick look over here on the passenger side. That also looks pretty good. We got our extra chip guard down there at the bottom. And overall, I think it turned out pretty good. The inside too cleaned up pretty well, except for my little jacket there. You know, we're out in the country, dirt roads. I've tried to keep it clean in here, but you know, mud in the springtime, I've cleaned out these mats a number of times. But seats are clean, the back seats are clean. The interior was really pretty good to start with, so just a little touch up. Alrighty, well I think we're gonna wrap this one up here. We got that painted, it is protected, and while the paint color is a hair off, unless you're staring at it with the 27,000 lumen shop light like I've got, you're really not gonna tell a big difference, especially not out in this environment or cruising down the road. You know, it is a Tesla. It was a little bit of a intimidating project just because it's a Tesla. But I guess nothing to be scared of. Sure, it's a nicer, higher end car, but it doesn't mean that you can't put some extra time and effort in it to have it looking pretty good. And actually, out of the other stuff I've painted, this probably turned out the best, even though it was the smallest and more fiddly area to work with versus entire panels. I think this actually turned out better than my X5 I repainted last year. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. We've got a plenty of other, probably not Tesla related content yet. Like the video, share it out with your friends. And of course, we're gonna have plenty of more stuff coming once we're back down here in the shop. It's just the beginning of May. Our weather is finally turning nice. Our snow is gone for now. And we're just looking forward to getting down here, working on our other restorations and other fun car content. So until the next video, we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.